Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For supportive oracle cards, we're going to use Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Alright, I already shuffled. 2, 3, and the fourth. 1, 2, 3, 1. You know what? For the most part, I think I'm going to push my luck and say I think this is going to go well. That's it. Okay. So now there's so when you're coming into whatever this is, they're reiterating this, like they're making a big point about this. In the environment, there's no cards, nothing. And you connecting to the environment, you're looking to fill a void. So how you got involved in this situation is like, for example, maybe you were not employed at the time and you're like, I need something. So you got something to fill the void. You were single and you're like, well, I need somebody in my life, and you found somebody to fill the void. They're telling me you basically had a void. There's an opening. It was unacceptable. And you filled it. You filled the void. You wanted to move on from less than the best times, less than optimistic times. You wanted to move on from something that wasn't the best, and you had positive energy. You had the Two of Cups pulling you forward. You had the need to connect to something, even though it might have not been your first choice. I'm getting the void is the reason you chose it. So, for example, when you got into this situation, you didn't have a job, you needed one, and you're kind of like, all right, this is not my first choice of going towards employment, but I need a job, so I'm going to fill the void and I'm going to take it. For some of you, this definitely connects in a romantic way. I understand that, which I don't think is good or bad. It's neither. It's just kind of like you were on your own, you're a bit lonely, you found somebody who had enough of the boxes checked. It wasn't exactly the person you wanted to be with, but you're like, you know what, this will work, and you filled the void. Some of you did do that. Now, if it doesn't click with you, that's fine. I'm definitely feeling that for some of you it does, though. Like, this one will work. I will start seeing this person, and maybe we'll grow to something more later. It can go different ways. I don't think we have to go through the whole encyclopedia of all the different ways that could hit, but you know if that's what it is. There was a void. You needed something to fill that void. You had the best of intentions. You're like, I have nothing right now. I moved on from something that wasn't the best, and now I need to fill the void. I filled the void. And this was definitely something that it was not optimally what you wanted to start with, true, but you did look at it with the opinion, with the view that, like, I can improve on this. I can make this what I want it to be. Whatever it was, you looked at it like, I can put it into perspective to make it what I want it to be, which is why you filled the void, why you chose to do this. Be it a job, a person, whatever else you can throw in there. You're like, yeah, this is not starting out with what I actually want, but I can evolve it into a position where it will be what I want. So that's how you got into this whole situation. That's how I'm feeling that this. If that's clicking, then this is probably for you. All right, so now, as you keep going forward, and I'm feeling this is more of a current energy, take it with a grain of salt. I know as you watch this, you know where you are on this journey. You got the four, no, that's the wrong one, this one. The Four of Swords, the three of Swords, and the Seven of Wands. Now, this isn't going to be a pessimistic reading. I feel like what this is saying is things have changed along the way. But you're not willing to give up. Whatever the situation was that we're starting from the beginning here did not go the way you expected, did not evolve the way you expected it to. You didn't have the opportunity to move things forward the way you wanted them to. And I'm getting the Three of Swords is basically you're kind of like, if you knew then what you know now, and this might sound a little harsh depending on what you're dealing with, but if you knew then what you know now, you wouldn't have chose to go forward with what you're in right now. You wouldn't have chose this direction. You would have held off a little longer and found something that fit you a little better. But you also got the Seven of Wands, which is saying that may be the case, but at this point, you're invested. So no matter what you're connected with, person, situation, whatever it is, you're like, well, yeah, that may be true if I look back, and if I knew then what I know now, things would be different. Yeah, that's true, but I'm not going to just give up because of that. I'm not willing to. Whatever you're dealing with, you feel like the person or situation is not working with you like you were hoping they would. And I feel like that's the Three of Swords. It's kind of like you're having heartbreak because you're like, I'm not getting the opportunity to advance this or evolve this the way I want to. I kind of feel like a Taurus especially, but Earth usually Earth, but Taurus especially is very open to evolvement, taking what you already have and growing from it. I feel like Taurus is very much into that, growing what you already have. And the fact that this is not growing the way you wanted it to, that's what the Three of Swords is. I feel like that's a very big disappointment. But still, not giving up is completely in line with what I know of Taurus, too. They're not people that usually give up, in my opinion. Be that a good or bad thing. You know, it's the power of the sign. You got to take it with the good and the bad. Now, I'm seeing that energy on your side where you're not seeing it evolve the way you want it to. And they're not working with you, the situation or person, they're not working with you the way you would like them to work with you. But I am noticing this in the environment. The Three of Pentacles, which is telling me this might be part of the problem. The situation or person, whatever it is going in their own direction. It's evolving in its own way. Your ability to direct it or steer it where you want it to go is not really happening. But it is advancing, but in its own way, not quite the way you want it to, though. Now, this is even more ironic, in my opinion. You've got the Queen of Cups between you and the situation. You're thankful for what it is. You're thankful that it has been there for what you wanted it to be. And you're seeing that, like, this, I don't see a hostile environment, really, so I'm not feeling that anyway. You're not happy that it's not going exactly where you wanted it to go. You're not able to direct it where you want it to go. But the thing is, this energy is cordial to you, whatever it is, person or situation. Like, it's respectful, I want to say, to the point where, like, you're listened to and you're treated well. It's just not going where you want it to go. This is very interesting to me. So, but still, advancement is happening. Now, what is happening next is the good question. Because you're ending up with a better result. And I'm seeing here at this point, it's kind of like this is not where I want this to go, but it is advancing. Now, what I'm getting here is that you're fighting to not give up on the situation. But to stay in the situation, you pretty much have to, like, kind of go with the flow a little bit more, is what I'm getting. Your first thought is you don't want to. That's the Three of Swords with the Four of Swords. Like, I don't really want to give into this. It's not going where I wanted it to go. But you're not willing to give up on it either. To keep this going, to not give up, it causes you, like, to literally not give up on the situation and not walk away from it. You have to kind of go with the flow to keep up with it, to keep going with it. And you do. You kind of go into the flow of whatever this wants. Because I feel like that's kind of your choice. Like, either give up and go somewhere else, whatever the situation is, or kind of get in line with where it's already evolving to and evolve the way it's evolve with it. You know, if you want it to go this way and it's not happening, it's naturally evolving this way, you don't really want to go the other way. You don't. But you're kind of like, well, if I either have to get in line and go with it, or this isn't going to work. This is going to end. And you're not willing to give up. So begrudgingly, you go with it. That's how I'm feeling for this. Okay. So you do. You go along with it based on those feelings. Okay. I'm just like, are we sure? And they're like, yeah, no, that's how it's going. Okay. Because I don't feel like I want to. I really, like, I don't want to go this other way. I'm like, I don't want to do it. But they're like, no, that's what's happening. And that's, the reason is because it's either, you know, go along with it so it survives, or don't go along with it and it fails anyway. So it's kind of like the choice you're stuck with. Down the road at some point, you will be thankful that you went along with it, is what I'm getting. Not your first choice of outcomes, but when you get there, you're feeling very happy, very secure. You're feeling like you can depend on the situation. it's worth the investment. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like the style of home. Like, you wanted a ranch and you ended up with a 2-family. And you're like, it's still a good home. I still like it. I still like the neighborhood. I still like where I live. I didn't really want a 2-family home. I wanted a ranch home. But it's still good. I feel like this is a very secure place. I like the other people on the other side. I'm good. I'm happy. It did work out. I am happy with where I ended up. Not my first choice. Not really what I wanted. But it worked. And I'm happy and comfortable. It works. The situation itself, you're getting success here. You are getting success here. And what I'm getting with the sovereignty here, right between it, is kind of like, it did work out. Safety worked out for you. You got the security you wanted from this. The necessary essentials you got. Like shelter, food, the necessary essentials, like those boxes are all checked. And you're filling in the rest as you go. So when I'm seeing sovereignty, it's usually like when I think of sovereignty, I feel like somebody who's kind of bruised and beaten up, but they're able to protect other people and they're not willing to give up, and then they band with others who are also bruised and beaten up, and they protect each other and they become strong on their own. You know what I mean? Just because we've been hurt in life, we don't give up. We band together and we survive and succeed together because we know what it's like to be beaten down. So we're going to stand with each other so nobody can do that to us again, and that's where we get our sovereignty. That's kind of how I view it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's what I'm feeling here. Because I feel like that's what this is. Kind of like, I went through the situation. I made it through these problems. I survived through it. Things are pretty good. The ending is pretty good. And now I'm going to band with what I have and fortify it. And fortify it so I'm safe and I can keep what I have and I'm happy with what I've accomplished. May not be exactly the way I wanted this to happen. May not be exactly the outcome I originally wanted, but the outcome is good, and I will fight to keep it, and I will stand to keep it. You got success there. So it does end very, very well. It's funny, because I feel like this card is one of those cards where I just got to go intuitively and let it come through, because I know how I view sovereignty. Like, it's people who are considered not as strong banding together and actually becoming quite a strength and being able to protect themselves and stand up against those who are stronger than them as a unit. And, you know what I mean? That's the safety I'm feeling here. And I'm feeling like you've gone through so much to get here, and that's kind of how you're looking at it. I've gone through everything to get here. I'm not going to give it up, and I'm happy with what I have. And now that I've gone through so much, I'm keeping it. I got this far. I did this much to get it. I'm keeping it. All right, we're good. I think we're good. All right, so I'm going to wrap that up there. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. Thank you.